Every single reason that you have for as to why you should smoke weed is a lie. Every single one. Now, I know that's a very interesting way to open this, but I am going to explain to you why I feel that way. It's day 3 of me being sober for the 100th time of trying. Little backstory on myself, I'm mostly addicted to marijuana. But when I quit weed last year, I started drinking substantially more. I never drink regularly, especially when I'm smoking. I might have one drink, and it's because someone has bought it for me. We still have alcohol on the top of our fridge from my wedding that was 6 years ago now. But if anyone has reasons to smoke, I think it would be me. And if anyone could have a completely fine life while smoking, it would be me. And I still feel as though I need to be done with this. So before you call bullshit, let me tell you a little bit about my life and why, if there's anyone alive today on the earth that should be smoking weed, it's probably me, from all of the medical standpoints and all of that, but I'm choosing not to because there's a lot more negatives than positives. I was born with a very rare heart condition that was incurable up till about a couple months before I was born. The surgery was brand new, and only one person in the entire world did it at the time, and I happened to be born a few hours away from where that individual was. I am the second oldest person alive today with my heart condition, because either anyone before me died, or a lot of people, unfortunately, that were born after me or in between that other guy and me have passed away at this point. Now, I have a pacemaker and a defibrillator that is working pretty much 100% of the time. It paces my heart. My heart would not be able to function on its own at this point. It would not be able to beat on its own at this point. I have a machine that 100% keeps me alive, and it has broken a lot since I got it in 2015. Throughout my entire life, I have had more heart attacks than I can count at this point. I think it's about 13. I have had more heart surgeries, at least 20 heart surgeries my entire life, including multiple open heart surgeries. I have scars all along here, and a giant one along here, and my whole chest. If you saw my chest, it's not very nice to look at, but it's what I have, and it's part of my story. Now, smoking is not necessarily good for my heart, which is one of the reasons I need to quit, but in an ironic twist, it has been the best thing for my heart for the last 10 years, in the sense of every time I have tried to quit within the first 2 weeks, I've had a pretty major heart episode. Luckily, my pacemaker has been able to get me out of it, but the stress of life and detox and all of that has always triggered it, whether I've realized it or not. Anytime my pacemaker gets scanned later, they're like, you're having all these heart episodes in this weird 2-week span. Is there anything you changed? Yeah, there's something big I changed. So that would be a really good reason, though, for me to justify, you know what? Weed keeps me from being stressed. Stressed is bad on my heart, and every time I quit, I have all these heart palpitations and wild stuff, and so that's a good reason for me to not quit. As good a reason as anyone, right? Especially maybe I just stop smoking. That's the part that's bad for my heart. I could just eat edibles, all of that stuff, and it's going to be great for my heart. I have a heart condition, and I should smoke weed. If I lived in a spot where weed was 100% legal like that, I would genuinely be diagnosed medicinal marijuana for that one condition alone, and we're just getting started. So I've gone throughout my whole life having this condition. My pacemaker leads have broke multiple times, and I've had to have them repaired, and it's quite a nightmare. What makes me feel a lot better about it is smoking lots of weed and not having to focus on it. Second of all, I guess when I got a little older, when I was 18, I was the victim of a gang initiation. It was a gang that was their only thing that they had to do was kill someone to be initiated into the gang, and I was the person that they killed. I'm obviously not dead, but I was in a coma state for a little while, completely unconscious, and I lost a lot of the tops of my teeth. I've been replaced because of that. My nose, if you look, is crooked because it was broken. You can't really see it on here, but I have a crack that goes all the way up my head through here that you can physically feel with your finger. I also, including my gross chest, there's some stuff where they hit me in the chest with, I was pistol whipped a lot at gunpoint, knocked unconscious, and the result of that was a pretty severe traumatic brain injury that I've been diagnosed with, and pretty severe PTSD that I've been diagnosed with. It was an incredibly scary situation, and weed has helped both of those things so much. It felt like it helped my traumatic brain injury because it just kind of felt like I was normal. And it definitely helped with a lot of the PTSD. One of the things that happens is sometimes when I'm outside, especially at night, and if I have like a tank top or something like that, and it's a certain temperature, I will go in, I can't describe it other than my mind feels completely normal. My body freezes up and completely locks, and I have no control over my body. I'm frozen there, and it's the worst feeling. It's a result of when the police found me, I had no clothes on. They had stolen everything from me, and I was essentially dead in a ditch, naked. And so certain weather takes me back to that pretty significantly. Every time I quit smoking weed, that comes back so much stronger. Like unbelievably, all the time it kind of feels like it's subtly there, but then it starts to go away after a while. But that is such a good reason for me to smoke weed. I have PTSD, that's the cure for it. I have a traumatic brain injury, that can make it so much better, right? We've all heard that stuff. Doctors prescribe weed for these things. It's not a big deal. God, it's so wrong because all it's doing is just, it's making me feel better a little bit at a time, but it's just masking it. So unless I genuinely am deciding today, you know what, no matter what, the rest of my life, I'm going to smoke copious amounts of weed, no matter what else happens. If that ruins my family, oh well, because this is the choice I've made. If this ruins my life, oh well, because this is the choice I've made. Hopefully it won't. I either have to make that decision so that I can use weed as the medicine to fix all of these genuine things that are probably worse than worse than anyone I know for the most part. Like, I'm doing okay, but I mean, at any point my heart can stop, and I'm kept alive by a machine. And just the other day, literally my first day stopping smoking weed, my pacemaker alarm woke me up. Luckily, it was not a big deal, but that kind of fear and stuff is a really easy trigger to say, okay, well, if anybody should smoke weed, it should be me. And I don't actually think I would be wrong. I think that I could very well, like, logically make the case that I should smoke weed. I've made that case to myself for a really long time. Another reason why I would be fine, I have a great life. I'm sitting in the studio of my dreams, which is in the house of my dreams that is next to my parents, who I get along with incredibly well. And I have an unbelievable daughter, and I have an unbelievable wife, and on paper, and I have the job of my dreams, and I'm unbelievably lucky. And one aspect of me says, hey, look, you've achieved all of this stuff and all of this success while smoking weed. Why do you even want to quit? And the other half of me says, like, imagine how much greater life will be when you're not smoking all the time. You'll be able to actually enjoy these things. How many times have you guys, like, I'm sure you've done it, I've done it all the time, you avoid a family event or gathering because you're high or because it means you won't be able to smoke? Or like my mom will invite us over to dinner, and I could go and have a completely great dinner with my family, and instead I'll take my food and say, oh, I have work to do, and I'll go back over here, and it's really just so that I do have work to do. I always have more work to do. There will always be more work to do because I work for myself. Instead, what will happen is I'll come back, I'll get really high, I'll get distracted by something. Maybe then I'll go do a bunch of work while I'm really high, and then I'll go get more high. And it's just always maintaining. And it's like in between every set. So my band plays, I play in a band full time, and we play 3 sets a night. And in between every gig, in between every set, when I could be out talking to the people, getting to know the people that have spent their money and their time to come out and see my band, instead I'm hiding in the van, getting as high as I can, getting ready for the next set so I can go out stoned off my ass and dance a little bit. That's another good reason why I should smoke weed, right? I'm a professional musician. My job is I get paid to make music. If I don't make music, then I cannot pay my bills. And I've been very lucky for 10 years. Not only have I been smoking weed, but I've been completely self-employed as a musician, and it's been awesome. But it's got to go. I have to figure out how to be creative without it. I have to figure out how to enjoy it. You don't think it's like, so I have to go up and make people feel good and like dance and all that stuff. And I'm 34 years old. There's a lot of times where I do not want to go up and just dance. I don't want to go up and do these things. But if I smoke weed, all of a sudden it's like, let's fucking go dance, let's go. And Yeah, how horrible is that I need a substance in order to be happy enough to want to dance for people or dance around people or sing or like any of that stuff. And it's part of the game. I get it. Everyone in my band smokes and drinks, and all of them are alcoholics. Like, they don't talk about it. They don't bring it up. They don't even try to quit, but they're objectively all alcoholics. I don't drink, and they drink substantial amounts every single night. I'm not saying that as a negative thing. I would never try to get them to quit. It's their life. But I'm surrounded by people that are heavily in the throngs of addictions, like to the point where if they stopped, I think 2 of the members of my band, if they stopped drinking, would have to go to a detox clinic. The other one, I have no idea. I don't know how much he drinks. I just know how much he drinks when he's at gigs. And I too, this is me brand new sober pointing this stuff out. But out of the 4 of us, I'm the only one that ever even tries to go sober. And it's a constant battle. But if I could tell them that I need to never drink or smoke again, and they're some of my closest friends, and if 3 days from now I said, oh yeah, I'm back on, it doesn't even matter, they would smoke me up. They would do a shot with me. It would literally, because they don't want to change either. Maybe they do subconsciously, but it's such a big, hard step. So I say all of this to simply say that all of the excuses you're making in your mind, all of the things you're telling yourself as to why you're the one person that should keep smoking and why you are the person that, your situation is different. Trust me, I've told myself the same thing. And I genuinely do believe that if anyone deserves to smoke weed, it's probably me. I'm very fine in a lot of ways, right? As fine as someone could be that's smoking weed all day, every day. I have a great job. I don't play video games. I'm not like an easily distracted person, like in those senses. But even with all of that, weed is ruining my life in the sense of, what is the point of having a life if you're never present for it? You know how many human beings died younger than you, died younger than me? Jesus died younger than me. And here we are wasting our life not being present. Even if we're succeeding, right? Even if we have you're succeeding at not being present as well. Even if you feel the most it doesn't matter. You're on a substance. You have chemicals altering your state of mind. You have chemicals that are changing the way you make decisions, whether you realize it or not. Because the problem is, when you're on the chemical, it's really hard to look at yourself objectively. Actually, it's impossible to look at yourself objectively because you have that chemical in your brain at that point. The only way that you can be more objective is if you're 100% sober for a long time. I don't know what that feels like. I'm not even being objective now. I'm just kind of getting my thoughts out and seeing what happens. Today was a much better day than yesterday. Yesterday sucked. Today was so much easier. And I think it's because I kept myself busy most of the day. And honestly, because there's been a lot of people commenting on these videos since I've come back and writing their stories. And those are the things that really have kept me wanting to stay sober, because I'm filling my mind not with podcasts and stuff about weed, but rather hearing other people's stories that have had a problem. Wow, this was a little bit of a longer video. So thank you guys so much for watching these videos. I'm going to keep posting every single day. And if you see me stop posting just like last time, it means I have started smoking again. And I won't read any of your comments because I will feel bad about smoking again. But I'm going to do my best. I have committed to an entire year of this no matter what. And, but, obviously those are just words, and we'll see if I'm able to stick to it. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.